So that's the studio, right? So we just started the live stream, and in this live stream, what I'm going to do is I'm kind of soliciting your help because we're going to rework the Only in Japan open, and I come in the Yukon. We're gonna change all of that, and this group of animators are gonna help me. So this is DR Shtajio. Let's go in and meet them, okay? All right, here we are. Look, check it out. That's the start of the meeting. Okay, the meeting. Okay, here we go. All right. Hey, Arthel. How are you? Nice to see you.
Hey, everyone.
Yeah, there's Henry back there. How you doing? Nice to meet you.
Oh, nice to meet you too.
This is not our first time meeting. This is not our first time meeting. All right, so these are the team. What do you guys do?
We're anime creators. Both of us are from America originally. We didn't know each other at that time. Separately, on our own journeys, came over to Japan, got into the Japanese anime industry. Arthel is a background artist, I is an animator. And then eventually became friends, decided to make this studio. So we produce our own anime as well as work on, big projects that you guys probably all know. Yeah.
That we all know. Really?
That we hope you all know.
Like Naruto, Tokyo Ghoul, different shows like
Tokyo Ghoul, Naruto. Wow.
Currently.
I've heard of them. So I know them because last year we worked on a project together for an animation software company called Toon Boom.
Toon Boom.
Toon Boom Animation.
We love Toon Boom. We use Harmony, Storyboard Pro. Most of major animation studios in the States and all over the world actually use it for all the current 2D anime productions.
Right. So it's Harmony is kind of like, I don't want to say like Adobe. Did I just say that? But it's sort of like a software similar to Photoshop for animation, right?
Well, if you were to choose, exactly. If you were to choose some similar, like some other programs to kind of compare it to, I guess most people most likely know Flash or CC Animate.
Right.
But it's kind of taken a few steps above that, and so that's kind of what everyone uses. But that's what it does.
When I was in New York, before I came to Japan, I always worked in Flash. So I worked on like Super Jail and like different music videos and stuff like that. I did like a Kesha music video, MGMT music video. I really liked Flash. I had no reason to really change, but after I saw kind of the different things that Harmony could do, especially in the cleanup division, like I could just clean up the drawing so much faster and so much crisper. So that's what I always use now.
Yeah, when we first I started making the commercial for Toon Boom, you guys didn't know too much about it. I didn't know much about Toon Boom. So I've also been learning a little bit about Toon Boom as well. So thank you for Toon Boom for bringing us together. And it's because of that introduction that we're here right now, going to be able to make a new animated opening to Only Japan. I think most of you have seen it before. I have it right here queued up. I don't want to show that one. All right, that's my wife. Private videos. All right, here we go. This is the opening to Only in Japan right now. This is what has to change. Right there. I made this 5 years ago. And now we're going to kind of change that up. I made this 5 years ago because I had to make an opening, and I wanted something that would stand the test of time. And it did! For 5 years. It's good. I like the beats, the intro beats. It's classic, right? We got Megan M. writes in classic. And we have Peter's opening. I asked my friend Peter, could you make a title call? And he goes, okay. He sent me 5 of them. I should let you hear the other 4. He says, Only in Japan. I said, it's simple, it's good, it sticks in your mind. People are going to try to imitate you. That's what they do with Peter's work. And it worked. And for 5 years, this is great, but it's getting a little bit old, and we all have to evolve. And in order to do that, I need the help of these 2 guys. Look at them.
That's right. Hopefully make you all happy, but that's why we need your help, right?
Right. So what we do is we need your help. We're going to be brainstorming ideas and coming up with some of the items and that we're going to be putting in animation, which is, how long did we just say this is going to be?
Total is 12 seconds.
Yeah, about 12 seconds.
Yeah, the animation portion will be 8, and of course the logo. And
so it's pretty short. It's not like you're not going to get like a 3-minute, let's talk about the story of this opening. But really cool, solid, like 10-second-ish kind of opening.
Okay, yeah, and that's basically what I'm looking for. Something that's fun and in your face and makes you think only in Japan. Something that you want to look at. In the first meeting, they know this. I'm just telling it to you because. But first, I want to introduce you to some of the work that Art Shtajio has done. They are an accomplished group here living in Japan. Why Japan? Why the U.S., right?
Yeah, so I'm from New Jersey. Now, I'm from Patterson, New Jersey, and California. I guess I grew up partly there as well. And you know, like everyone else, like you have an interest in Japan. We have an interest in anime, and I really loved. Actually, there's only one reason I came to Japan. Unlike everyone else, like who just loves anime and everything like that. I actually only really liked one animation in particular. It was Ghost in the Shell. And I watched that when I first saw Ghost in the Shell.
Scarlett Johansson.
No.
Yeah.
No. He's like, no. That's a Hollywood version.
Yeah, I like Scarlett Johansson. Don't get me wrong. Like I love Scarlett Johansson in all of her films. You know, she's a great actress. But perhaps she was in the one that came out in 1997 or like. But yeah, so I really liked the original Ghost in the Shell film and feature animation, and it became my goal to work for the art director of that, who was Hiromasa Ogura-san.
And did you?
And so that was my goal, and then actually I did. Like when I moved out to Japan, went to college here, and then I got my first job in the animation industry was actually for under his tutelage, under Hiromasa's tutelage. So, and that's what I've been doing ever since.
So Art Dal's like living the dream. A lot of you have been writing in, saying, how do I become an animator? How do I make anime and manga in Japan? And Art Dal's living the dream. So you had a dream and you did it, dude.
Yeah, I guess that's what they say, right? Like, it's like, you have some dream and then hopefully you achieve it. And I guess I kind of did.
You did. And Henry, what's your story?
From New York. For New Yorkers, I'm from the city and the state. Staten Island originally, but then I moved into the state until college, and then I moved back to Brooklyn and Queens until I moved out to Japan. So I went to Pratt Institute in New York and the Delaware College of Art and Design, DCAD. I actually originally didn't plan on moving to Japan. I thought definitely the states are going to start producing really awesome things ourselves, right? So I was influenced similarly to Arthel here, like by Ghost in the Shell and movies like Ninja Scroll and stuff like that. All the old VHS I could rent in like Blockbuster and Easy Video and stuff like that. But then once I got into the industry, it's not that I couldn't find work, and I was enjoying the projects I was working on, but they just it wasn't Ninja Scroll. And I was like, that's what I gotta make. Like, who's making this? And Japan is the only country in the world making stuff like that, even to this day. I mean, there's a few projects kind of scattered throughout the world that are unique, but no one compares to Japan. So if I wanted to make that, I had to come out here, and that's what I did.
Yeah, you have to be in the center of it all here in Japan because that's where a lot of the ideas will also come from this. And there's something about just being here, too, that gives you a lot of ideas, which is what we're going to be needing your help today. Because we live here, we want to get some of the images that you might have of Japan, too, for this. So thanks for sharing your background.
I'm just reading some of the comments.
He's reading the comments. That could
like,
be dangerous.
Messed up. Yeah,
Then Henry joined the Yakuza. Oh no, they haven't. Somebody just commented that one.
I didn't reveal that part of the story.
The first rule of my club is do not talk about it. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the work that you've done. We're not showing you what they're working at the desk because there are possible non-disclosure.
We're working on a couple projects right now, and both are not exactly.
Can you talk about those projects? Those really interesting. Tokyo Ghoul.
Here's what we can do. We will let all of our fans know about everything we're working on and share links to them the second they're released. So actually, please, if you can, like check out Shtajio's Instagram account, Twitter account, and then also Arthel's individual account, Arthel
my
Isone.
Twitter account. Man.
Twitter, right.
Shameless plugs.
But you know what? If we get more of those followers, like the studio really does expand. So like, if you find this interesting at all, please do check out those pages. And if you like what we're posting, give us a follow. Really appreciate it.
That's pretty cool. Let's take a look at their work. If you like it, follow them definitely. I'll also put a link in the description of this video so you get complete and total linkage.
I think there are a lot of So I guess we'll go back to our very first.
Oh, wow.
We'll just kind of play through a little bits of it,
Okay.
different things.
The
So,
Shtajio.
should we talk about it? Do a
Yeah,
little,
go ahead. Give us a
so
director's.
This is Indigo Ignited. This was the very first project that we produced here at DeArt. Arthel
Wow.
worked as art director. I worked as director and animator, and along with a whole bunch of other really amazing animators. Animation director Asuka Tsubuki.
Wow.
Yeah, this is based off of an independent manga comic from the States. We tend to work on a lot of independent stories and things like that, and they wanted one of the creators, David Pinter, wanted to kind of see his comic come to life, and they reached out to us, and then that's what this story is based on. It's based off of this character who has this kind of hidden ability that
Wow.
that no one knows about, and this is actually the point where you find out. And so if you're interested in it, please check it out. It's called Indigo Ignited, and you can kind of search
Yeah.
for it on
Yeah,
YouTube.
yeah.
So you made all this here in the studio.
Yes,
That's
yeah.
pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
And this is one of them.
One thing that our studio kind of prides ourselves in, I guess, or like a big point of the studio is people can. We can produce things that would otherwise never get produced. So this is an indie comic from the States, and even big comics from the States rarely become anime, right?
Yeah.
So an indie comic like this becoming an anime would just be impossible without a studio like us who's willing to kind of listen to the different projects people internationally want to produce.
Right.
And so I think the kind of stuff we produce is really stuff you'll only see from us.
Yeah.
Wow, look at this.
This is just a teaser, and it's also based off of another indie comic, Stefan Metayer, and it's called Teflon Funk, and it's really comes straight out of New York. It's a pretty cool idea.
Whoa.
It's about these characters who are kind of all forced together to figure out why there's this new drug
on the market.
Yeah, drug on the market, which is called Teflon Funk, and there's actually this kind of there's something about this
Teflon
drug.
Funk.
It's not a normal drug, and it comes from somewhere. So if you want to find out, please check out the comics.
Give it a search.
And do a search for his comic books and things like that. Very great artwork.
Whoa, that was cool. So wow, so this is just a trailer for a longer anime that you're making.
It's a trailer for a long anime that we hope goes. Like sometimes we do a lot of pilots and things like that, and it was we do a lot of pilots that then the creators present and the producers present to other companies and things, and there are people who are interested in it, and so hopefully it will become something major.
Yeah. This is fascinating.
So we've worked with a few, I guess, rappers and things like that.
Wow, it's really cool. So you take on a lot of projects.
Actually, Exo's not inside here. It's on my other computer.
How about Shoujo no Theater?
Oh, that's the one that we worked on, right? That's the one
and of course-
you worked on. I just filmed it. I filmed the trailer.
Yes, and our own, Shoujo no Piero, which is what kind of brought us together.
Yeah.
And this is...
Written by Arthel here, and then Arthel and I both directed this 2-minute short together. This was 100% just the group of people sitting right here, right in the studio.
Yeah. And then, this one is done with...
Very
with
Ghibli-esque.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
That's a compliment. Thank goodness. Wasn't sure.
Yeah, and this one, we kind of wanted to... Our studio, one of the things that we do focus on, of course, is just diverse stories. So from all over the world, from like Henry said, Puerto Rico, America, and Japan, and like Europe. We work with a lot of German clients and things like that. And we want to kind of just tell, our goal is really just diverse stories. And diverse stories doesn't only mean, to us, it doesn't only mean like minorities and things. It's just stories from everywhere, from everyone,
Yeah.
And so, this is a character kind of much like ourselves, where he
Expat.
is an expat, moved to Japan, and just
Yeah.
kind of he's an artist, and we're just kind of seeing it through his eyes and things like that.
This is available online, right?
Yeah, and so you can kind of check it out online.
Okay.
Also
I'll put a
search.
link to the description for this one too online.
The Japanese name is Shoujo no Piero, which we've been saying, but if you search for our studio name and The Doll, it should come
Oh, The
up.
Doll, right.
The Doll is the
The English name, The Doll. and in Japanese,
Yeah, that's that.
totally different. You know, a lot of Hollywood movies, they have totally different Japanese titles.
Yeah.
You know, Jerry Maguire with Tom Cruise, that was called The Agent in Japanese.
really?
The Agent, though, yeah. It's like,
The Agent?
what? I remember when I first came here in 1998, I wanted to rent that movie. I'm like,
Yeah.
where's Jerry Maguire? No. It's The Agent in Japan. What? Or Napoleon Dynamite is, you know that one?
No.
Napoleon Dynamite is Basu no Otoko.
I
I don't know why.
So it
It's
seems like
like they have a
whenever-
totally different title for the name of the movie there.
Although I guess if you think about it, the Japanese titles actually describe the movie better because the American titles are just the names of the character. Whereas
I don't know, but other times, like, what is it? Thor Ragnarok was Thor Battle Royale.
Oh, yeah,
and
Battle
no one
Royale.
liked that. Everyone was like, Ragnarok is so cool. And you
Yeah.
could see it, like, in all the English
Thank you, Brock.
trailers, so.
Brock Kenneth. I wish I had these gentlemen's talents. He writes in there.
Thank you.
It's a
Mm.
lot of hard work. It's not, I don't think either of us were necessarily born.
Yeah,
for it
long
at all.
nights.
Yeah.
So I have been animated before. I will show you guys.
Wow, that's interesting. Why do some of the viewers' comments come up as big orange?
Oh, those are what we call super chats, and they've graciously bought lunch for us. Thank you. So I've been animated. This is John animated on a cracked screen. It's probably better that way. A company in China called Kyuko animated me for software. Somewhat creepy. Although, you know, seeing yourself animated is not the same as... No, you're not getting it? You're not feeling it? Yeah, seeing yourself animated can be pretty weird the first time. Second time is still kind of weird. And the third time. It doesn't really change. So in this section, these guys and I are now going to be talking about what we can do to make a better opening for Only in Japan. I think we had a pretty good concept in the first meeting that we did the other day, right? I think we came up with... We started talking about what kind of animation that we wanted to do. Oh, okay, great, you have that too. I also have my bag with notes. I take notes. This is a very professional meeting, although, you know, might not seem so like right away. I'm going to put you down right here. Welcome to the boardroom. You have a seat at the table.
Seat at the table with us.
Yeah, not
At the
everybody
black-
not
at the
everybody
black
gets a
table.
seat at the table. But for the 412 people now, welcome. You see at the table. So this is how we conduct business in the animation. Really, is this how you conduct business? You would just, you meet the clients and you would just sit here?
Yeah, so we generally bring everyone to our table, the black and white table, and in most all animation studios actually, right, everywhere you all sit and just kind of go over. First, you want to get a feel for what the client actually wants. You know, what is their idea, and what do they kind of want to realize.
Do clients actually know what they want, or do they come in clueless? Because my feeling is like,
I think it's one of the two extremes. It's usually like, we want to make a thing, so when can we start? Next week? And then it's like, oh God, we need to explain that, you know, it's going to take a lot of time with pre-production. And then there's other people where it's like, I know exactly how every single scene will play out, and it must be like that. It's like, slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
We have to work through the storyboards and see if it
Right.
works.
Yeah, and it is interesting because of course the adage is that, you know, clients never know what they want.
Yeah.
And it's like Henry said, it's not that simple because clients know what they want. They know that they have a vision in their mind. Like they know that they want an anime, for example. But the thing is that they just don't understand the intricacies that go into making it in the production. So they want like this hour-long battle sequence that they saw, and you know, in some Hollywood feature film, in 5 seconds. You know?
It's not gonna
and it's like
happen.
that doesn't work, you know.
Yeah.
So then we have to kind of, and so that's what it really boils down to. So I think they know what they want, but then you have to kind of take that image and mold it so that it can become real.
I think the biggest thing clients don't understand, and this is okay, it's okay that they don't understand, so long as...
Happy birthday,
Oh.
Faye. Happy birthday, Faye.
Oh, happy birthday!
Happy birthday,
Faye.
Faye.
We'll sing later.
But
Go ahead.
I think the thing that they don't understand the most, and if they're open to learning about this, it's okay. But if they're stubborn about it, it makes it more frustrating, right? Which is that they don't understand time, how much can fit into certain amounts of time, a time frame, right? So all the time the conversation is, oh, can we do a 5-minute pilot? Here is the backstory of 10 characters, and I want to show all of that in this 5 minutes. Even if you had a feature film, you can't do 5 full backstories, right?
Exactly.
And so
We've all seen failures of that.
exactly. But they're so convinced when they walk into the meeting that it can be done. Can't we just cut really quickly? And then we're like, okay, well, here, we'll do a quick edit for you. And then when they hit play on the animatic, it's like, cut. And they're like, but I can't see anything. Of course you can't see anything. I was explaining you're not going to be able to see anything
5 minutes
if we're
is a
going to
lot.
flash it that fast.
Yeah.
And like Henry said, like, no matter how many times you explain it, most clients still don't get it until you show them. Then they almost inevitably say, it's too fast.
Yeah, and
like,
they're shocked. They're like, oh my God, it is like you said it
we're
was.
like, like 3 months ago, we told you it'll be too fast.
They're the professionals. So what I've asked them to do is in 12 seconds or less, make an animation that encompasses all of Only in Japan's 130 episodes in 12 seconds. Can you boil that down and put the essence of Only in Japan in 12 seconds? And of course they said, yeah, we could do that, but what we come up with might not be what is in my mind, which was this drawing. All right. So I'm a very good artist. The stick figures, and this is what they came back with, which was way better. And we're still working on it. Like,
This is our character designer, Rajan Dubois. You should definitely give him a search too.
Yes, and then these are Toon Boom's characters.
Toon Boom's
that's
characters.
right, that's
Okay.
Yeah, these two are Toon Boom's characters. They have these pretty cool, cat and little schoolgirl. It's Toon Boom's characters specifically for Japan.
In Japan, Toon Boom has recently
yeah, I
launched
think
a
it's
new
for Japan.
Japanese website, and if you go there, you can check out these characters. But of course, for the animation, we have to make our, this anime appropriate character designs.
Right.
So this is them kind of reworked for Shtajio's project.
There's a question here from who was that? Let me get the name right here. Are you going to be putting? This is from David Faith. Are you going to be putting music to this artwork? And that's a really good question. When you work and you make your animation, do you include? Are you thinking about the music, or do you just make the animation and the music fits what you
I
make?
think there are two different mindsets. So there are some. I think Henry kind of prefers to have music in his mind already.
Yes.
He likes to have the beat because he's coming from an animator's point of view, and animators like. Well, I'll let you.
Truth be told, everything we've produced so far in our couple years here has been the way I prefer to not do it, to be honest, which is that we have to get moving on the storyboards and actually get moving with the project, and then the music takes place kind of at the same time, but we're working it in. Ideally, I like the idea of having a music track kind of worked out so that then the characters can kind of move with the music track a bit. But what that does require is the music to be worked through thoroughly before we even start on animation production. So most productions can't move forward that way, which is reasonable. And similarly, this one may not be able to do that, which is understandable, and then we'll move forward with it the other way.
And then the second way of thinking about it, like Henry said, there's some people who, and actually I prefer it that way, where you allow the musicians, because there is, I don't know what you call it, but if you animate to music, then you restrict the animation to those beats. And in the same way with music now, that means the musicians can't create freely anymore, because now they have to really specifically take in mind what's going to happen. Now they have to think about that and then make their music that way. And I kind of prefer the musicians to be a little bit freer. And Akira and Ghost and Shell are famous for that. The originals, they were famous for, the musicians were just kind of given a theme, and then they just made whatever music they wanted, and then they just took that music and then you just add it to the animation. So neither way,
there's no right or wrong.
No right
it is,
or wrong. It's kind of reference.
It's like you ask two different artists, so how do you draw the character? Some people might start with the head, some people might start with the rough. It's not right or if both of them finish the drawing and it looks amazing, then there is no right or wrong. Similarly, however you work in the music is up to you.
Does John get cat ears? How dare you? How dare you ask something like this? How dare you?
He could.
Haha, you do both speak very good English for a Japanese studio. I was like, what? They're American. Okay.
That's great.
Sometimes
Like,
reading-
like we can speak from Japanese if you want. Like, so これから日本語でお願いします。
そう。もう日本語で
日本語でもできるですよ。
日
まあでも多分日本語喋ったら we would lose everyone.
You wouldn't know what we're talking about. At least there's 1% of you who would probably understand, and they're the very smart 1%. Although the other 99%, we love you too. We're gonna do this in English. So what we've come up with, I think initially is what an idea that Henry had, which was really good. And I actually saw this on a Netflix comedy show yesterday, where the comedian was in the middle, and then all the world was rotating around him, and you could see it behind him. That seemed to make a lot of sense. I think in a 12-second cut, I want you guys to close your eyes and think in 12 seconds. It seems like a lot of time, and somebody actually wrote in a comment that 12 seconds was a really long opening. It's not that. It really isn't. When you look at shows that are 30 minutes or longer, sometimes the opening can be 45 seconds to almost a minute long, and they're still doing credits like 5 minutes into the productions into the episodes. So it's 12 seconds really isn't that long. And with the amount of stuff that we want to put into it, anything less, I guess 8 seconds, anything less would be that's
I would actually agree that it is long if it were a boring opening. If it was just like, oh, welcome to the show, and then like it slowly zoomed into the logo, then it would feel incredibly long. If it's a really exciting, 10, 12, 15 seconds, I think that's okay.
Yeah. All right, we got in from Ramsilent, planes, trains, space boats, food, onsen, torigate with Okapi mascot. All right, it is. Okapi would be interesting, although not really from Japan, just part of the show. You know what an Okapi is?
Yeah, so
Oh,
what is
yeah,
that?
the animal, right?
Yeah, half
yeah.
zebra. It looks like a
Yes,
zebra,
yeah.
but it looks like it's like half zebra, half
Horse.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's like-
they're
it's
really
like
cool.
orange.
Yeah, I always try to check
It's a
them out.
pretty
if I
cool
go.
one.
Are those in Japan?
Yeah.
at the Ueno Zoo. I got it up there.
There's a few.
And Sarumaru writes in here, I released a game called FX Unit Yuki, and I've always wanted to produce an OVA for it. Does this studio take on work for indie projects?
That's generally what we do.
That's what they do.
That's exactly what we
That's
do.
exactly what
And you can get in touch with
yeah.
them. I'll put the email in the description
our
as well.
website.
Or the website, Shtajio.
Shtajio. So before we move forward, Arthel, please explain Shtajio. And this
I
is
wanna know.
completely Arthel's idea.
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting. So it's pronounced De Art Shtajio. And it's funny because in Japan, of course, they have their own way of speaking English, right? It's waseigo or katakana English. And so in Japanese, they say studio as stagio, but we say Shtajio. And the reason we called it Shtajio is that it means a foundation, is the meaning. And so there's a play of two words. So our saying is Shtaji ga daiji, which means the foundation is important. And so background artists in Japan, we start off our painting, and even painters in America, if you're an oil painter or something, you start off with the base, like, your sketch. And in Japanese, that's called shtaji, which means the underdrawing. So I thought it was pretty cool. Like, oh yeah, we got underdrawing, which is shtaji, and then you have studio. So you put those two together, like Shtajio, and then, so that's where the word.
They often do this in Japanese, right? Where it's
Yeah.
like two kanji that can't actually even be read together. Like even Japanese people would look at it and be like, "What is that?" Like a one piece, like attack or something, right?
Yeah.
And it'd be like, "What is this?" But then above it, they'll have the furigana, which is how to read it. So like they merge words here in Japan.
Pocket monster, Pokemon.
Yeah, and then
I know
that's
that
another
one.
example.
Yeah.
So they merge words here. We don't do that in English as much, but here we are.
All right, awesome. Thanks for the questions, guys. So basically, I mean, I'm getting a lot of suggestions. How about an anime of John surfing, riding a Shinkansen on a map of Japan? That's a pretty interesting idea. I mean, I'm not totally against that one.
That's interesting. Like, so Shinkansen. So we'll be going at like Shinkansen bullet speed or
Yeah, well,
Really slow.
Tasty Chronicles. We'll just be going at bullet speed because that'd be more than 30 frames per second.
Yeah.
What is the FPS on animation, by the way?
24
in
24
Japan.
frames a second.
In Japan.
30 frames a second is video speed, but they just flat out don't use that here.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
24, always 24.
except in Europe, which is where it's 25.
25 is PAL speed. I like 25 frames per second.
Although even for our European
we do
projects,
25.
No.
we do 25.
Yeah.
Really?
We animate in
It's
our
one
own
extra
studio
frame.
24, and then when we export, we always.
Interesting.
That's more work, right? One extra frame.
No.
Oh, not really. Okay. So when you put it like that here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, one person wrote in 12 seconds is too short for my taste. You know, I think what my image of this now, the last like 3, 4, 5 seconds is going to be the title only in Japan, and maybe some things are floating on the screen. But in those 8 seconds, it's kind of critical that just kind of brings the show together. It's just an opening.
So you kind of touched on the one idea that we're leaning towards now, but let me kind of flesh it out.
Yeah,
Kinda do
please.
that. Okay, so here's what I think we're at as the current idea that we're going for. We definitely want to show John in the character, right? In anime character form. If we try to have a little story where we do multiple cuts, I don't think that fits in 12 seconds. I agree with you there. But if he is just right in the middle of the screen, right? And as if he just came to Japan, right? And he's looking around like, whoa, whoa. And like the camera is even spinning around him, right? So for this 12 seconds, it's nonstop him moving and looking around, whoa, whoa. And then behind him is just all the things he's seen so far, and then maybe some things he hasn't from Japan, right? So there could be onsen and things like that in the backgrounds, but then layer upon layer of, you know, these characters running and jumping around, sushi flying through the air, right? It could be non-realistic also. It could be all different things related to Japan, kind of flying through the sky and you know, jumping up. A ninja jumps from the sky, slashes down. All these different creative things. So, what do you guys think of that? And do you have ideas for different things that could be popping up in the background there?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And I think, yeah, Henry, take what you just heard from Henry. If you're listening to the playback, just scrub back 15 seconds and kind of go through it over again. That's sort of the basic ideas, and things are going to be floating that represent Japan or stuff from this show. And now my problem is, there's something called a hierarchy, which means that we have some images that are closer and some images that are further away.
And some that'll last longer and others that'll just zip by.
Just zip by, right. An example of something that would just zip by would be maybe
Shinkansen.
the Shinkansen. Of course, because that's good.
Well, not necessarily. So this is why the hierarchy is important. What do you really want to see? If the Shinkansen is really important, we could have it in the background as if it's far away, slowly moving across. So we do see it for a while. On the other hand, if the Shinkansen isn't that important, then we can go, okay, and it's gone. So what is important and what isn't?
Yeah. And okay, just come over here. I want to talk to you alone. All right. Like now, I don't want to leave everything up to them. That would be the easiest thing. You just say, okay, look, I really don't know what I want. Just do what you think is best. You never ever say that, because you have to. This is for only in Japan. This is my show. So you have to give direction. So even though, you know, it would be easy to say that, and they have their own images, and they probably have in their mind what they want. Whenever you are a client and you have to make. You also have to direct it, right? And you can't just be sitting on the back seat. So I need your input here. You guys are also the directors. I mean, you would like to direct, and you have images of what you already want to do, right? You kind of, in your mind. I mean, you're a creator, right? So creators have images, right? So have to kind of give them the ideas of what to do. So should the train zip by, or should it just like sit there maybe for a little bit longer? These are things that we have to discuss, and we have to work together to do that, to see what's possible, how much work this takes, and there's a lot of variables, right? It's not as easy as I think it is, and that's the thing. I thought it's really easy. Now, is it easier to make this with the software? That's what's happening over there.
She's playing with the lights.
You've been exposed. Yeah. So there's a lot of things to think about, but like for this kind of a video, we sort of have a basic idea of what it's going to be like. What's a time frame on this? I mean,
So I think for the animation part, 10 seconds, right?
Yeah.
And,
Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we should aim for if you're not super specific about it. So this is where the client would have to be specific or non-specific.
Yeah, and it's good for the client to be specific, right?
Well, it depends. If you want very specifically 8 seconds or 10 seconds, then you could tell us, Henry, I want it to hit exactly at 10 seconds. And then we deliver an exactly at 10-second video. Yeah. If you're a little bit more flexible, then here's what I would do. I would animate you kind of spinning around and looking around, and then just keep adjusting the timing until that animation looked good. And if that animation looking good until you kind of settled back into the first position and then the logo came out, looked good at 8.5 seconds, I would leave it at 8.5. If I decided it does need to actually be 10 or 9.7, right?
Yeah.
I would let the animation kind of play until it looked good,
yeah.
and then I would deliver it there. So, is there a very specific length, or is it a little flexible between the 8 and 12 second kind of window?
Tick tock, tick tock. No, I'm flexible. I'm actually my biggest concern is keeping the audience entertained and to make a product that just makes people want to see it over and over and over again. Yeah. I don't know if I did that with the Shoji door opening and giving a cheesy smile, but it kind of worked for that, but it doesn't really give an idea of what the show is about. It just introduces me in a kimono. But with this opening, I want to take it to another level and kind of introduce what not just the show is all about. So basically, just kind of rearranging the music and the beat that we have, maybe kind of adding some other elements or complexity to it, but the beat's probably not going to change. There's elements of the show which are classic that just work with it. It's about
if you want, we could keep finessing the character designs and kind of start on some of the image boards and stuff like that to get colors and things right. Spend a little bit more time on pre-production while you edit the music together. And if you deliver us a specific finished music track, that itself would determine the time. Because then we would fit it within the music track that is delivered. So if you deliver a 14-second music track or a 9-second music track, then we just have to make animation that would then fit in that. If that works better for you, that's a possibility.
Okay.
So that's the timing.
I need help with making a music track. So if you are like a music person, just contact me. But don't let them know that because now I'm kind of panicking. I'm trying to look cool, but I'm like music track. Okay. All right. Next step.
We didn't hear anything you said. He walked into the private room over there.
That's right. It's private talk. All right. So I hope that this gives you kind of a pretty good rundown of what needs to be done in order to get this done. It's not as simple as it's about bringing the ideas together and making something that is entertaining for everybody. But the ideas should come from the client. And
yeah, for sure. If there's anything that you want or specifically don't want, just let us know, and then that's what goes in.
Right. All right. So your homework, everybody out there in the internet, is to, in the comments below, give me items that you think encompass what Japan is, and go back over your experience watching the show. What are some of the things over the last 5 years that have really impressed you? Don't say John in a fundoshi, which is the thong that the sumos wear. You can say that actually, but that's probably not going to be. Well, maybe it might be.
Well, the client gets to decide. So.
Hey, I get to decide then. That might be. That was the first episode from Only in Japan where I was in the Naked Man Festival, and the wedgie that was accompanied with the fundoshi is something I'll never forget. I still have scars, mental scars. There's nothing physical, but yeah.
One idea Arthel actually had was it's animation, so it doesn't actually have to be realistic, meaning that as you're spinning around, if you do want for a moment cat ears to grow out and then go back in, or Mount Fuji to grow out the side of your head and then back in, or like a character to jump out here and run around your head or something. Like, it's all doable, so you can get kind of specific and weird with the comments. At the end, John decides if it goes in or not, but in animation, you could do anything you want.
Wow. And if you have right now an idea, you can go ahead and text that. Jim, the moderator, will have some fun now with some of the more obscene comments. Thank you, Jim. I don't know if Nosh is here. But they're asking, what are you drawing on right now?
Oh, what am I drawing? You mean the actual object?
No, what is this?
Oh, it's the iPad Pro. I really like iPad Pro. And
How'd you get the new one so fast?
Oh, this is not the newest one yet. I wish it was.
Yeah.
So Apple, if you're listening, can you send me the newest one?
Yeah. Come on, Apple. We could use that. If the question is more broad, what do we use here? It's mainly a digital studio.
Yeah.
So we do all Harmony on in-house productions. The anime industry in general is mostly still working on paper, and so when we help out on other studios' productions, usually at some point in the process, at least, it comes back on paper, and then from that point to the end, we have to finish it on paper.
That's interesting. Noodles falling out of my hat as hair could be like a ramen, right? And the hat turns into a ramen bowl, and like all this stuff is fun, right? Can you just see it, like everything warping over the course of 8 to 10 seconds? It's kind of fun when you can come up with these kinds of ideas. I want you to think more like Xavier Waver. Waver. Like this kind of stuff is fun. Characters coming back in your merchandise. Hey now, merchandise. It's a good idea. I want to see where you teach us about Japan. Okay. Shinkansen zips by, causing John to spin faster. It's interesting. Choices for this. There's too many. Flying okonomiyaki to reveal something. Flipping an okonomiyaki to reveal something underneath it.
Or maybe, the okonomiyaki could flip and then there's...
It could transform, and it could even be flipping, and then it comes down as something else.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or it becomes
in my mouth. Or do a bit about yokai. I see LYP likes yokai.
Yokai's not a bad idea. Some
Yokai,
yokai, John. I like
but then
that.
we need you guys to tell us which yokai you like.
There's hundreds.
yokai.
Yeah.
Now, Godzilla is copyright.
copyright.
Yeah. This is something, one of the most requested was, make sure you have Godzilla. Maybe you might not speaking in this voice. Make sure you have Godzilla going through it. And the problem with that is Godzilla is owned by, I think, Toho Cinema.
Someone just mentioned yokai like Gegege no Kitaro. So that's what we can do. Not the Gegege no Kitaro characters, but they always reference the real yokai, right? So we can similarly reference the original yokai.
We would have to. We wouldn't be able to use the Gegege
Of course
yokai,
not, yeah.
but we would have to come up with our own version.
Yeah.
I could talk with the people in Totori Prefecture. Maybe we can kind of do something. But the thing is, whenever you do that, you have to put on the bottom the copyright for that.
There's enough that
culture,
there's enough
Yeah.
to be reworked from what's
Just the
usable
stories.
anyway.
Yeah,
So.
Tom, there's not going to be any Gundam in this. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's interesting because now we're going towards all the anime characters and things, the popular characters. So with this intro, we want you guys to think of the images and things that actually represent Japan.
Yeah,
Not the
Well,
merchandise that comes out of Japan.
the subculture of anime and manga. The subculture of anime and manga is already, to be honest, being referenced in that it's an anime opening, right? So you've already kind of covered that is an aspect, and now what's shown in the anime opening should be more, not otaku-based stuff, but like just more Japanese culture-based stuff.
Yeah, so basically, because it is an anime opening, we've covered anime.
Yeah.
We don't have to go over it and have Astro Boy weave it through. I'm not sure the Astro Boy creation team is going to be happy with that, nor their lawyers.
Someone wrote Samurai John. So that is actually, right now we have you in your normal T-shirt, but you can be in something different.
We can give like a chomage.
if you're interested.
Something.
Yeah, well, I think over the course, a lot of things happening, things could be changing. I think clothes can also change, right? I don't know how you do that, but we can have like things changing from, black T-shirt day to maybe samurai outfit to sumo thong. I don't know. There's a lot of
at the same
kids
time.
watching.
It was all suggestions should definitely be submitted.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we do need to take into account 12 seconds though.
Yeah.
And if too much is happening, then we'll have to go through and pick and choose, right? Because outfits changing is such a big thing that alone could be the opening. You know what I mean? Like he's in a blank room and then whoop, one outfit, whoop, another outfit, whoop, another. To be doing that while there's flying sushi and okonomiyaki and there's transforming this and that, all of a sudden your eye doesn't know where to go on the screen, and then it becomes actually not exciting anymore, and it's more just like,
so it
what
makes
is
the
this
viewer
craziness?
just throw up and get sick from
It
motion
just makes
sickness.
them go like, what is this?
I like this idea.
It looks sloppy. It doesn't.
How can I make the viewer feel sick? How
Oh,
can
we could do like the old Pokemon episode that just flashes colors.
just
as all the
flashes
beams are
colors,
coming,
and then
give
people are
seizures.
coming up in epileptic seizures. Yes. Okay. So we got here.
Crazy people.
Do you guys work on Maya? Do you work on Maya? I think we're using Harmony, right? Maya's different.
Like we have our own 3D like in-house apps and things like that. But yeah, so different things.
Yeah. For this, we'll be using Harmony, which is a Toon Boom animation software, which I think is available to everybody now. I think.
Yeah. So now everyone can go online. You can all download it, and you can download it for free. You can try it, and you can use it and just do everything. Which is
that
pretty
just
cool.
in
You
Japan?
can submit. No.
I don't know.
I'm sure everywhere.
Toon Boom,
I'm sure
watch it, like-
everywhere has the demo that you can download.
Yeah.
As far as I think Japan has a unique kind of for the moment free
license
thing.
for the students. Yeah.
For students. But you should all go check it out. What's available at any given time actually probably changes depending on the different. Different.
And the cool thing is you can submit your own. You can submit the animations and things that you've made, and they do a reel and they allow the fans to submit their work and stuff too, which is pretty cool. Yeah. Not the fans, but the artists. Yeah.
Wow. So I'm going through the chat, and what you write in the chat is actually a part of the record of the show. Okay, so your ideas will be remembered in the chat. I'm seeing a lot of really fantastic ones dancing in the Nebuta. I see some Nebuta dancers in the background. This is stuff that we can do.
The Nato fairy. We
the
can't use
Nato
the Nato
fairy.
fairy, but we can use Nato. We can put Nato.
Actually, Nebaru-kun is maybe royalty free.
Oh really?
You know, Nebaru-kun is the stretchy mascot. He can go up to like 12 meters high.
Yeah. From one of the. Is that? Can we use those? What do you call those things?
I can ask. He's a friend of mine.
What?
You know
He really is. Nebaru-kun. I met
Nebaru. Each area, each cheeky head.
He was on a live stream 1 year
probably
ago.
not. No,
Yeah,
I wouldn't
think
think so.
they're
I
actually
wouldn't think so at
yeah.
all. Yeah.
Vending machines, definitely. That's a big part of it. Convenience. We could have convenience stores in the background, maybe lots of vending machines.
Yeah. One person said kabuki.
Yeah.
We can use the paint of the kabuki, so like on your face, just like the paint can just come in and then disappear. That would be kind of fun.
I like that.
But again, if we're focusing on that, that's a great idea.
The
but
voice
if
of reason.
8,000 things are happening at the same time, then all of a sudden his face starts flashing colors.
Yeah.
Who knows? But
What's wrong with that? I'm just saying.
Pretty
All
cool,
right.
actually.
But I see. All right. This is where the experience comes into play, because in my mind anything's possible, and yet they know, having to done hundreds of works, what's not possible.
Well, also,
right?
if you see, even just from that, like Arthel and I do go back and forth. So there's different opinions even being shared within the studio to really kind of, like, what is the best? No, this is the best. No, this is the best. So it's back and forth until we kind of reach,
Come up with
something we think is the best idea and doable.
Thank you, Goku Whittington. Thank you very much. I see that coming in. Huge tatami room. Tatami. I think you're not gonna be able to see the floor on this, right? I'm pretty sure.
No, yeah, we're kind of staying around your head. So
Yeah.
I think, I noticed a lot of people are kind of talking about whole like scenes and things happening and changing. I think it'd be great if you guys can kind of focus more on objects.
Okay.
What he means by that is things that would have to be background elements. So people are writing onsen
Assets,
temples and things
background,
like
yeah.
that.
Yeah, like
Now,
Capsule Hotel.
There can be some of those, but there's only going to be, let's say, one background that pans across, right? And so
Aspects of the environment can change. Like, that's okay. But for example, if you go from a capsule hotel, everyone coming, which is a cool idea, but they said go sliding from a capsule hotel into a Shinkansen. Or
This is
or
crazy.
slide from a capsule hotel into an onsen, I think is what they wrote. And I
Into
thought
an
that's
onsen,
pretty
and then
cool.
you fall
But-
from the onsen into the
Yeah.
Shinkansen.
Yeah. But then now the focus actually just becomes on that action, like what Harry was saying, because now you have to have this environment. So you see nothing else of Japan, only those things, and then in 12 seconds, that's just, like that would go by so fast.
And you know, onsen, temple, the different specific locations, those things can really only fit in the background, right? There's no way like any of those things are flying through the air. An onsen flying through the air, how would you even do that? It doesn't make sense. So most of the things that we're seeing flying through the air and the characters that might be popping in and popping out, they can't be locations, right? They have to be things.
Yeah, it's
they
very
have to be
difficult.
objects. So sushi is okay. We can put that somewhere.
But one cool thing with locations, like, because that is a really, it's interesting because that is a really important aspect about Japan is its location. So, for example, in onsens in Japan, the old school onsens, they have the bathhouses, they have those huge paintings on the wall and things like that. So we could essentially have the background done in that style. So you can think of an aspect of a location. So like when you were saying, like, you know, okay, we might not be able to do the whole temple, but like you can do one of the foxes or something, like a sculpture from this that represents that, or you can the gates, the torii, you know, and then you get the idea of this represents this location, but we can't focus only on the castle, you know, because then that by itself would take up the whole
That's
screen.
the whole.
That's the whole screen, yeah. So elements, things that can be on the screen or in the background, but not be the main of it. Because I'm the main. It's my show. I'm just saying.
We need the things interacting with this.
Yeah, I mean that is another thing to keep in
Humility.
mind. You know, it's not this 100% blank screen that we can fit anything over. If you're right in the middle, then already just based on that, you know, a large percentage of the screen is already being taken up.
Right. So Gavin, well, you do the opening scene of Only in Japan. Yes. And you know what? I don't think I'm going to be changing Peter's voice. I might be modifying it, or I'm going to talk to Peter and see what else he can do that might be different. But it's just it's just kind of something that's part of the show. So if I do the music, I will incorporate the elements of the original song and maybe add to it to make it cooler or faster or beats to it. But the core of what you know is going to be incorporated into it because that's the brand. Anil Rivera, also Skytree in the background. Of course, we'll try to have some of the monuments. There's also, you know, the Sapporo TV tower. There's lots of in Osaka. There's the Omeda Sky Building. There's a lot of monuments that we have to consider. The Kobe Tower from the pier. There's lots of things around the country, but these would be in the hierarchy in the back, I think, right? We wouldn't want Kobe Tower flying.
Well, I guess
hit me
it
in the
depends,
head
and that's
with my ear.
Figure out, right?
I mean,
you could have a tower grow out of like, the middle of your head, and then characters can run around, like, you know, down from it.
So, you know, again, it kind of comes back to what you tell us, because we have our own ideas of what looks good and what isn't. But at the end of the day, if you do want Skytree flying through the air with rocket boosters in behind it, we could do it. It's not that we can't do it.
I think that's why one of the good things, we started this live stream by showing you some of the work that they've done. When you see what a studio has done in the past, it gives you an idea of what is also possible. But you have to also think outside of that and try to come up with some things that might challenge the team. No? Yes? No?
Sure, please do.
Yes,
Please
no,
do. That's
maybe.
exciting. That's exciting.
Make it exciting.
We want to do like some cool animation, you know, something that is challenging. You know, we don't want to do it easy.
The plus of making it short is we can focus on making a really good short animation. You know, if something's 45 seconds or a 20-minute pilot, then, you know, you have to kind of balance like where do we focus our time. But you know, it's a short amount of time, so I think we can make a pretty sweet, pretty cool, pretty involved.
Yeah.
You know,
it just can't be psychedelic and have everything flying on the screen and freak people out and make them going into epileptic seizures, which might make the videos go viral because the news media will pick up on that, and then
20 people.
Shtajio will be in the news for creating
25 people hospitalized internationally due to
because of only
Japanese
in Japan.
animation studio.
That's what I'm looking for, guys. I'm the client. No.
We'll be famous. We'll be famous.
They're real famous for getting arrested.
Yeah.
Wow, but that kind of stuff. But as you said, it looks sloppy, and we want to make something that's neat because, I think, I put a lot of work into the videos that I make on the main channel, and I know that they put a lot of hard work into what they do. So we want to show you something that represents, the wide range of our skills, and this team as animators can definitely do that because we've seen their work.
Megan, she's like the voice of reason. She's like, Skytree, yes, no rocket boosters. And then next one, she's like, don't let it get silly. All right, she's the voice
Don't
of
let it
reason.
get. All right,
She's
we
the
won't let it
director.
get too silly. I think that's also a good point. I can be quite, what's the word? Childish. In some things that I do, especially in the live streams. But yeah, we'll bring it back down to earth. Ideas when you brainstorm should be sometimes over the top and crazy, and then they evolve into other ideas. Now, maybe we're not going to put although I still kind of like that idea of the rocket blasters.
rocket
I'm just-
blasters.
Oh no, I
kind of
shouldn't
like
have
it.
mentioned it.
I sort of, now that you've mentioned it, and it would be the Skytree because it just looks like a rocket from the Josie and the Pussycats kind of era. You know, remember those rockets? No,
Yeah.
that's before.
I
Oh
remember
yeah.
those things.
Josie and the Pussycats. Okay. So I got images. For me, one of the big influences for me has always been like Monty Python and that kind of cutout culture, cutout opening where all these things are coming out from cutouts. Do you guys know that one? No, the Monty Python.
Oh yeah.
Wow, that's like ancient history.
No,
but-
I know what you're talking about.
yeah, that's always been that's kind of the style of where I've come from for the last 10 years. What did I do with the other phone? I saw an opening that was kind of, I think, close to what you were talking about. I think it's in the pocket here. Yesterday on Netflix, which is pretty crazy. Let me see if I can pull that up there. It's interesting. So while you're waiting for that, you can definitely start, like, what we need are ideas for assets, things that you would want to see in the background of this. Meaning, like, Skytree is pretty good, but how important is Skytree? And
More characters still, because even Skytree is still like a landmark element, right? Like, we've gotten some foods
Okay.
and stuff, but let's think more. Like, I actually really like the yokai idea. I don't think we would have came up with that on our own. So, like, that's my favorite so far.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yokai!
that's cool. And then, what about different animals that only appear here? Tanuki. What about those giant salamander, the giant Japanese salamander? You know those?
Yakapa?
No, oh well, those too, but no, there's like a certain type of salamander that's like gigantic. It's like this big. It's only in Japan.
Oh.
Japan doesn't have too many like super unique animals, but a couple things like that, and other people in costumes. So kabuki was said. What about sumo? Things like that.
Yeah, that would work. I think sumo is something. There's certain no-brainers like geisha, sumo, or as we say, geiko in Kyoto language. They don't say geisha in Kyoto. I was kind of freaked
Really?
out by this. They say
Oh, cherry
geiko.
trees.
Geiko.
Geiko and Maiko.
Yeah, Maiko,
Maiko.
geiko.
I actually just learned the difference between them yesterday.
Oh, really?
Between the gecko and the Maiko. I didn't know that Maiko is actually when you first enter, and then Maiko are training, and then Maiko trained to become gecko.
I think I
Or
did know that,
geiko.
but I didn't know the
Yeah.
name.
I
of
think
the...
geiko and geisha are the same. Geisha never call themselves geisha. They call themselves geiko, which is women of art.
Yeah, they play the
Yeah.
songs,
Oh, I see, I
and
see.
they're the ones who actually perform. And
But then
Maiko
what?
don't.
Other people
Maiko
refer
talk.
to them as geisha, or is it that derogatory?
No, it's not derogatory, but other people will refer to them, but they don't refer to themselves. And
Yeah.
local Kyoto people don't call them geisha; they call them geiko out of
Yeah,
maybe
it's
respect.
just Gecko, because there's only Gecko Maiko. Then everyone just calls that
Yeah.
geisha.
I see,
you know?
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has nothing to do whatsoever.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
We're talking only in
Japan.
Japan. This is a learning experience. Can't get out of one of these episodes without learning something. Come on.
That's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. I can't find it. Netflix is hard to navigate. It's a comedy show with some dude who's doing a new show about stuff in the Middle East. What's the name? He's the comedian.
Tengu. That's pretty cool.
I can't find it. It's kind of a pain in the neck here.
So,
Yeah, a lot of these assets that
Well,
are.
that's like, I guess, yokai as well. It kind of falls in.
Yeah, these are actually
Tengu,
really good.
you
Some
know
of these
Tengu?
ideas coming
Yeah,
in.
it's the guy
Oh,
with
that's
like the
right,
long
with the really
nose and
long
the little
nose.
small wings.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yokai.
How do I continue watching?
Vending
Trees.
machine is pretty cool. But what about a vending machine with rocket boosters? So we're not doing Skytree.
I like that. Let's just make things with rocket boosters.
Let's just put rocket boosters.
Yeah.
Sumos with rocket boosters.
Okay, so Skytree with rocket boosters, vending machine
See,
with
with
rocket,
rocket
boosters.
boosters and different kinds
when
of
they
flames.
when they hit each other, they gatai into a super robot.
Into a yokai. The Skytree vending yokai. No? No.
Prayer cards is kind of cool.
That's not bad.
That will work. Oh, I can't find it. It's hard. They don't have Netflix app doesn't have my choices.
I think after you guys write all of your ideas, John will be the one to come up with the hierarchy at the end. You know,
Yeah.
like you'll be like, this is important, this is not. So even things like what was the cards you just said, the prayer cards.
prayer cards.
So something like that probably wouldn't be high up on the list, but it could definitely be thrown in somewhere.
Yes.
Who said prayer cards? Danielle
Absolutely.
Wara said prayer cards.
Thank you, Danielle. I can't find it. I totally wanted to cue this up for you and show it to you.
some
It's
li-
exactly what I think what we're talking about with this.
Leonie Pitts asks, is the video that you're looking for
Yeah.
Sacha Baron Cohen or something?
No, that's not it.
Oh, okay.
That's not it. You know what? I'm just gonna do it another time. I'm gonna focus on this.
Asahi Super Dry, so a beer, Japanese beer.
Well, we can,
I-
we can use a bear can.
A
I guess.
general beer can.
I can probably get like, we can have product placement maybe. If you are a
Yes.
client looking for a place for product placement, please contact us directly with your offer.
Hey now, hey now.
What is there?
And this isn't just any product placement. This is opening product placement.
That's right.
Every episode, every single one. Come on,
I
guys.
conservatively estimate the amount of people that will be watching this to being
That everyone
over
would learn about.
1 million people. Probably, maybe even more.
Sake is good.
Ambitious.
Sake is not bad. That could be general.
Sake. I think I can get Dasai to give us. I can talk with the president of Dasai. I did a tour of their
Oh, okay.
brewery to get, and it's in Evangelion. The sake that they in the background is Dasai. They use.
Really?
Yes. So that's a double-edged sword, having Dasai. Although that is one of my top sakes. It's not the number one actually. Sorry, Dasai. But I love you, and please don't listen to what I just said. We will accept your sponsorship
You said
for the
character with
opening.
big nose.
Gachapon, sure. I will look back at all the episodes that have been popular, everything over like 1 million views, and I think there's over 20 videos, 20 or 25 videos that have over 1 million views. These are things that viewers have liked, and they're going to find a way, one way or another, inside of this video.
I do like the idea of.
Gachapon's one of them.
That is a good one. I think those little balls could definitely be there.
The
Yeah.
Capsule toys, yeah.
Capsule
Capsule
toys.
toys, yeah.
I like the idea of things that aren't the most stereotypical Japanese things, because like if only a samurai and only sushi jump out, then it's almost like anyone could have made it. Like I think we're a more informed group, and probably people watching the channel too want to get more into the really unique
the
things
really-
about Japan as opposed to
Yeah.
the things everyone knows. So similarly, Godzilla, like anyone could make Godzilla, everyone knows that. So more unique, like a rarer yokai is much cooler, I think. Similarly, the capsule toys.
Yeah.
So anything like
Prayer
that, anything like
cards.
prayer cards. So anything where it's like a normal viewer probably wouldn't even know what that is, right? That's kind of cooler to me. I
because
think.
then it gives you
Yeah.
a reason to watch the channel,
Yeah.
and also just kind of you're learning about Japan without even knowing, which is kind of cool.
One of the reasons why I want to do something like this, where there's lots of elements, is that I want to make something that's an animated work of art, basically. Something that you can look at over and over again, and you never really get tired of it. You've seen some. I've seen some openings like this. I've seen some really short clips like this where I just get drawn inside of it, and I'm just mesmerized by what I see. And that's sort of what I want to do, an opening that stands the test of time. That's my number one criteria. It has to stand the test of time, meaning it keeps engaging the viewer with something in it, an element that maybe you like, or an element that you don't know, that you learn from because you saw it there. These
The
are
voice
things-
of reason has spoken.
Yes.
Megan says, exactly, keep it relevant, don't get trendy.
Don't get trendy.
Trendy.
And Japan is a country of trends, so it's kind of hard not to do that.
But if you just stay away from the super stereotypical stuff,
Yeah.
then I think then you're on track.
This opening will self-destruct in 5 seconds. Mission Impossible reference. Yeah.
Taiyaki. That's interesting.
Taiyaki would be good. That's actually quite big,
We
abroad.
cover a lot of things with
Without the head exposing the Anko interior.
What about now?
Mount Daisen would be good.
Now I'm going to suggest
That's not
like
Mount
difficult
Fuji, it's Mount
animations.
Dyson.
That would be hard for. What about like different like aspects of like famous Japanese legends, like Momotaro and stuff like that, and like like the what is it? Like the koi fish, it swims up the waterfall, transforms into a dragon and stuff like that. Like it's little things like that, like a koi jumping and then transforming, dragon flies
that's
away
cool.
real quick.
Yeah.
It's like little Japanese kind of folklore elements in there too.
I like that. That's the basis of the culture. Folklore may not be popular like, Ghost in the Shell and, Evangelion or One
love
Piece. But, but folklore is where the history and a lot of what we know today about Japan has spawned from this, right? So definitely elements of that. We could have Tokugawa Ieyasu's sword, which was fought in the Battle of in 1600, and there's so many. So we're looking for characters more, which I think would be in the foreground, and then landmarks and things like this maybe in the background. Although there'll be some that might make it to the front, but we're limited. How many do you think in this 10-second? How many elements do we need?
I think
Only a handful of really hierarchy stuff, right? So
Okay.
you'll be in the middle. You're like the
I've
number
got
one.
extremely
hierarchy thing,
large
right?
hands, Henry. What is a handful?
Well, okay. Maybe four to six things that you want to really clearly see. So like these two characters, let's say this Toon Boom character dressed in kabuki makeup or something like that, coming in like right around you, like I don't know, giving you a high five or something like that and walking out. And then very specifically a sumo wrestler jumping on, looking right, looking left, leaping out, right? So you can really see them. Just 4 or 5 things to that extent. Then the lower hierarchy stuff, the stuff that's really just zooming around in the background, sushi all of a sudden pops from the right side of the screen to the left. Like that, you can add a whole bunch of them. If you give us a big list of that, those things can just be popping up and zooming.
But do you think we would see John's whole body?
No.
'Cause I think we would be focused like here.
Yeah,
right? So
yeah,
it couldn't
yeah.
be too much of a. We definitely want to get too far where we need to see a whole big. Unless you're saying that there's gonna be like a little tiny John doing something.
Little tiny John.
No, I think this will have to be worked out later when we actually kind of start boarding it. But no, I think like your composition is fine. Some of the characters,
Ninjas.
characters will be almost on the same plane as him. I feel maybe just a little bit further back.
Oh,
And
okay.
those are the ones which are hierarchy, I kind of feel. So if this character walks by, as opposed to her being super
Pocket
far in
John.
the background and small,
She would be kind
she
of
would
like
be almost on the same
Hachiko.
plane as him and walking by, smiling at the screen, something like
Kappa
that.
turning into
Oh, I
Fuji.
see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Fuji. Yeah. God, there's so many asset ideas. So I wonder if we just get Mount Fuji comes in at the end and then just explodes, and then all these assets explode out of it, and for 1 second
right.
they kind of just suspended in the air,
No.
and then they explode onto the screen.
Voice of reason, can you help us? Voice of reason.
She's spoken. She's like, I like the intros to Cosmos, John and Center with all the elements around them. Only. Voice is spoken.
Splatterhouse under the screen of assets. Cool. No, that's not gonna happen. No, sorry.
You just wouldn't you wouldn't see them. So I think for the sake of actually people getting to see the assets, you need to cut them down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There could be, if there's a million things, I mean, can we put it? Yes, but then they only end up on a few frames as they're all zooming by and no one sees it. So for the sake of seeing the things, you want to keep the list shorter. And actually, that's a good way to think about it. The longer the list, I think you should still give us a long list. I think there should be a lot of cool things in the background there. However, as your list gets longer, realize you start to see them less and less, right? And so if you end up giving us a list of only 5 things, that's way too short, right? But if you did, each of those 5 would be super clear, right? Then as you start getting away from 5 and now it's 10, all right, now they're all kind of clear. But then if it's 20, now there's a bunch of things that are going to be real quick.
But wouldn't the viewer push pause and look at them and try to catch them?
I don't know, viewer. Would you?
Yeah, I would.
I think a lot of small things. Oh, someone says, "What am I drawing?" I guess we'll show it at the end or something, or should I show them?
I don't know. You can save it for the end.
Yeah,
Stick around to the end. We've only been at this for 70 minutes now.
I think a lot of small elements is actually a cool idea, but like Henry said, like you said, Johnny, there should be some large. The main characters can kind of move across, but I think there could be lots of tiny little things that's just happening.
Interesting.
That because they're not focused, right? You know how when I always think about that dancing bear video that happened. This really old YouTube thing where the people are playing basketball and there's like all this stuff happening, but there's a bear that's moving from the left side of the screen to the and no one ever knows. I just said it, so now when you watch it, you're gonna look for the dancing bear, but you actually don't notice there's a dancing bear. I think
the one going like this.
Yeah, and just moving from left to the screen to the right, but you're just watching the people play basketball, and then you never notice that there's this big bear dancing from left to the.
A real bear?
Nah, it's a person in a costume.
Okay.
But I think that you
like
could
that.
have a lot of. There's like the main focal point. There's like the thing that you're watching, which is John essentially just turning from like observing everything, and then there's the main characters. But I think that there could be small things that just constantly going on, like all these ideas that people are saying. I don't think that it would distract you because they wouldn't be the focus. And so like with our with composition and things, you're leading the eye, telling the audience where to watch. And then when you rewind and you go back and forth, there's just a whole bunch of tiny things that is also happening. And I don't think it would get audiences confused at all, because we would just play with the color. You can mute certain colors and have the things that you want people to watch be very vibrant colors. And then that larger things so it would, I think it.
That's exactly the style that I'm thinking about. In the background, it's not the focus. I think people might see it or catch it, but it's there, and that keeps people engaged. Like, what was that? Was that?
Yeah.
You're gonna see this. You're gonna see this over the course of years, like several hundred times, if you're a viewer of the show. You're gonna watch the opening over and over and over again. It's gonna be in every episode, right? I think it's gonna be pretty cool if you have elements of it that are happening in the background that you just catch. You know, like something happening, but you're not quite sure what it is. I like that. We'll talk about it. Yeah. Voice of reason. Yes. What can we do? I do like that. Stuff happening. It's things that you can watch over and over and over again and not get tired of it. You can catch it and be like, I watched this 10 times. I didn't realize that was a blank, blank, blank. I kind of like that because I myself do that. I did not know that. Did you know that? It's something people can talk about at the water cooler. Do they have water coolers? I guess they do have water coolers.
I think the internet is the new water
At the
cooler.
water fountain.
Or like Tanuki 109.
You can talk virtually, through your anonymous personality about how you didn't
But they will.
discovered something.
That'll be the biggest probably comments for the first video where this is released. It'll be like, hey, did you notice that? And the unfortunate thing about the internet, though, is everyone will flesh it out in that first video and post right there like, hey, did anyone catch that?
You see this?
At 4.8 seconds, there's a thing right behind his ear. Like,
I like that, though. We'll see if it's feasible or not. Keep working on that. Cool. So we have here 70 minutes of assets. So thank you for that. Yokai is a yokai parade now. One yokai is turned into a parade.
I actually like that idea for animation, but I don't think it's appropriate for this.
Yeah. Easter eggs, basically things that you can discover that are hidden surprises.
Yeah.
Things that are in a video game.
We put like real Easter eggs, like not actual Easter eggs, but Easter eggs.
Oh yeah.
I mean, yeah, we'll have just a bunch of Easter eggs in there for you, right? And they open up into beautiful geisha.
Easter bunny.
Yeah. Or we can have 100 different versions of this, and each one. No, that's not going to happen either. It has to be one thing that we can put over and over and over again, that kind of just mesmerizes you and makes you interested about the show, and is also so well done that it represents what we also do, and I'm pretty sure we're going to be able to do that. No one has done that. My wife, I don't know if she'll make an appearance, although she might kill me if she does not. So we might have to maybe
literally anime
put geisha
character.
makeup on her, and then I'll tell her that is her. Shh, it's between us and the 423 people watching. Sushi eating people. Wait, that's interesting. The sushi eats the people. It's like the revenge of the sushi. Well, then that overshadows me. No, that's actually would be pretty cool.
I like all the ideas,
That would be pretty cool.
but it's a matter of how trippy do you want to get. If we start having sushi eating people, I mean, then we're
Then
going
I become the
full
sushi. I'm
on
on a bed of rice.
then what we're going for is, and it's funny as I look at Arthel's sketch here, which I'll show you in a bit. Like I'm reminded of like the old MTV logos, like back in the '80s, like the original ones, where it's like the MTV logo suddenly becomes a dozen different faces that are eating each other and different things like that.
Yeah.
And then we're on the moon in another one.
Dun, dun, dun,
My,
dun, 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 dun.
My thesis teacher, actually, Pat Smith, animated one of those, the ones
Oh,
where,
wow.
where they're all eating. Yeah, so I was taught by one of those logo creators. But do you want to go in that direction? If you want to, that's cool, but if it gets too crazy, then it looks like an MTV super trippy just logo. Sushi eating people and then we're back. It's not a bad idea. It's just, do you want to go in that direction? That's the the
Yeah,
question.
and then I start the episode. Hi, we're at the Ueno Museum of History. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It wouldn't. That would encompass some of the episodes, but something that would be able to go like after you watch it, you don't want to see something on culture. Maybe you want to just.
Do not go too trippy. It's not.
Do not
It's
get-
not appropriate. And I probably agree in
What do you
this
mean by
case.
trippy? Like, what do you mean by trippy? I just. Could you define that? What trippy usually is like psychedelic, right?
I understand what they mean. It means the MTV thing, right? Which is that
Yeah.
everything collapses into a completely different form. You know what I mean? As
Ah.
opposed, so like what it is right now.
Make it calmer.
2 seconds from now, it might just be 100% a different thing. You know, like it might turn into water and then suddenly splash off the screen.
If calmer means lame, I might not do that. All right, the first day you get off, I want to just explain this to everybody. The first time you get off of an airplane and you get into Japan, how do you feel? Let's say you walk into Kabukicho. Think about the opening to Lost in Translation. Think about Bob. Well, he's very jet lagged, but all these things are hitting him at once. He's got those neon lights. He's got like strange people running through the streets. He's got pachinko. He's got different noises. He's just the first day you arrive in Japan. It's not calm, all right, because you're probably coming in through a
Japan
city.
is crazy. Yeah.
There are calm aspects of it, but you are basically bombarded by a culture that is completely different than everything that you've ever known about it. Everything that you thought that you knew is false. No, not such. Most of the things that you thought were true are kind of different here.
Yeah.
And I think that the show is one of the reasons that this show has been successful is I kind of can give you an insight or an exclusive look into stuff that's like that. But I want to encompass in the opening also that feeling of, wow, there is a lot of stuff here in Japan. All right, this stream has frozen. That happens sometimes. Actually, we've gone on for 70 minutes. I don't know what that means. Can you guys still hear me? The stream is still
weird.
going.
Oh, I guess all of them have stopped.
Hold on a second.
Yes, that's good.
Let's try it sometimes. The YouTube app.